Hello there, this is Cookies. I've got turn 82. This one might be a little shorter, but we'll see how it goes. I am going to try to cover 2 turns though. And the second one will be the current turn. So it's me catching up. So we get up a Dome of Arcane Warding, we get some gold from Kaelasa. Let's go ahead and look at these battles really quick. So we've got a couple of thugs again. We're going to jump in, and it's all PD. We've seen them kill PD before. However, some Rus units move in. But it's a scout, it looks like. Then in the Shrine of Steel, Kalos has got a little raiding group. Alright. So it's mostly just PD, but this raiding group is pretty interesting. Got a pair of thugs. Likely a pair that we've seen before. Actually, 2 pairs. So we've got 2 of the pairs of thugs consolidating. And then we've got a Rudra that's flown in. It has a Staff of Storms, Coral Blade, and Golden Hoplon, along with Precious. So, and that's to prevent easy flight. And then he's also got some Marut bodyguards. However, all of our guys that Kalos has got here have storm immunity. So he'll be able to fly, but enemies cannot. So the 4 thugs jumping in the back. All right. So pretty cool little raiding party there. And then in Gemport, we get attacked by Vanheim. So it's another, or no, Marverni gets attacked, but it's a Jarl facing the whole Marverni army. I think it was trying to gem burn, but I don't think it worked. Let's see. 2 items and 4 pass. I think normally that might be enough, but for some reason it wasn't. In Sea of Rond, yeah, we've seen this party before. There are a lot of Sea Fathers here. They don't look scripted, though. They're just casting random buffs. So we'll see if our Yakshini and our She-Lord can deal with this. Let's see. I mean, we've got decent MR. Now, Frozen Heart is pretty dangerous here, although we do have 10 Cold Res, so they're less likely to cast it. But it would still be the play, because it would do little bits of damage. But you can see she's up to 61 HP now. Alright. In Scraw Point, we've got Marverni attacking Arco. Alright, in Silver World, got Kaelasa attacking Vanheim. So the Mace of Eruption, She-Lord, we've seen that one before. Some of these imps here are fleeing. You can see the blessings in the top. I think ours is Urkus, because it's not doing warrior illusions. Should be able to kill these Bakemono, although it's on attack rear. Okay. And then we have a battle in the Fortress of Ubar, and this is going to be our big battle for today's episode. I think it's our only one. We've got an army from TNG. We've got Ubar's Last Stand. That includes the obelisk, but no gems on it, which is sad. For a number of these guardians and Jinn warriors. A lot of these ghouls who are famous for their 50% regen. And then we've got an Ifrit warrior here. Fair number of mages, so I'll go through this. All the ancient presences you saw on TNG's side are all commanders. They have stuff like dancing shields to limit the number of incoming attacks, so it's less than their reforming flesh. We've also got Rings of Fire to offset that vulnerability and Amulets of Anti-Magic. Got a Celestial Master with a Gate Cleaver. And a Ifrit Sultan with a Smasher in case golems came in. Another Gate Cleaver from TNG. Shield and Meteoritic Iron. Got a big Nature Caster, a big Blood Caster. The Blood Caster is from Ubar, so this lady's at Blood 8. But did they put out Blood Slaves? Unfortunately, they didn't put out any Blood Slaves, so this looks like an army that got gem burned, and it's just not been refueled. So all of this is just representing potential loot for TNG. TNG's got several companies of these infantry, kind of scattered around a bunch of Draconians, a little mage ball in the center. I will go ahead and play this battle. These guys sure did deal with that that obelisk pretty easily. They just rolled on up and ate it. Yeah, ancient presences are really cool units. They can get up to hundreds of HP or thousands, which is pretty insane. And they've got all sorts of resists on them. They have regen. They're truly monstrous to try and kill. So Ubar doesn't really have an answer for that at this point. So down they go. And that's the end of Ubar, along with Sarmatia. We did not catch the final storming of Sarmatia's fort. Have a couple of events. Got an assassin going after a Kohen, which is very sad. He wakes up, kills it, and survives somehow, though. And then we patrol out a Mercata scout. Alright, so for this turn... no, it's going to be next turn. The foreshadowed event. Let's see. So generally speaking, we did get hit by another Lost Woods. So at this point, I do end our naps with both these teams. With the caveat that if we get hit by another Lost Land, we're just going to start attacking and we're not going to put up with it anymore. I feel like I've been way more patient than I think Zan and Kirby probably have wanted me to be. And I believe, what did we set for attack orders? It does give us a little bit of time to get a little bit more global control put in. And it does let us get some domes up. So I'm looking up when I put for the attack orders. Okay, so attack orders are landing on turn 85. So we're not quite there yet. This is turn 82. But yeah, this is... I guess it's like go time. We're getting kind of like pushed into this now. We are going to finish vulturing down here. I think next turn, not this turn, but I've already thought of it. Yeah. We're going to get contacted by the Marverni team about negotiating our vulturing rights extent. They do push back on us getting mount chaining. They know it's mount chaining. But at this point, we feel like we're ready to fight anyone and everyone, at least until other teams show us that we're not ready. And so we push back and they actually end up agreeing. The Marverni team, that is, obviously Arco can fight us over it. But we're going to take these two forts as part of our vulturing, and we're going to stop on a line along here. So we do get the Sea Fathers, which are amazing. So many water gems in that province. The Academy of High Magics, also amazing. The Throne, very important for trying to win. And we pick up Mount Chaining. Importantly, we get this PD conscription up to 10. And Kirby has not really been putting PD this whole game. Well, I take that back. He was running 1 PD for the longest time, but it looks like he's bumped it up everywhere, or in a lot of places. So getting some automatic PD conscription up to 10 should be pretty nice. I think we'll get a lot of value out of that. I've also got 6 in a lot of places. Hinnom has 6. So, going up to, was that 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10? I mean, that's like 34 free gold per province, going up from 6 PD. So that's super useful. And then mount chaining. self-explanatory. At this point, Hinnom is at the point where they can research 9s. So if he wants like Demon Knights, or maybe he wants discounted Storm Demons rather than Shed, he can go ahead and get all that at Mount Chaining, is the plan. It is somewhat exposed. We might want to replace this with a Citadel, but so far that's the plan. And other than that, still kind of waiting for this stuff. And for foraging, here's all the stuff for foraging. And the steel ovens. More, trying to focus on more big army temp gem gens. I have Gaia, Terrafoil, Ancient Casket, stuff where you can go in and cast like the really big spells in an army on a particular mage and not have to worry about gems. So, especially since we've got discounts for that stuff. And then here's what we're sending out. And I believe this turn I start general recruitment across the board. I don't think I'm getting troops everywhere, but I am getting mages. I'm going to start funneling those mages towards the front. We also put up Thetis's Blessing this turn. I believe we're going to... Oh, I think what we did was we did Arcane Analysis on Riches from Beneath, so we could try to save some pearls on the Dispel. And then I think our plan is to leave up Well of Misery as long as it stays up. Because, I mean, the free growth scales are pretty nice. And yeah, and then as part of our peace deal with the Marverni team, we're going to leave up Forge of the Ancients. Because if we were fighting over this stuff, obviously we would dispel their global. All right. So I think that's it for this turn. I will go ahead and... Am I casting anything? Replacing my Dome of Arcane Warding, adding a Void Pattern Labyrinth, which I now know after talking a bit with Lucid, because he was doing a little bit of testing around that. And it turns out that they don't seem to really stack, or maybe they're bugged in some way. So I would probably just lean towards doing the Void Pattern Labyrinth now, but I didn't know that at the time. And let's go ahead and go to my current turn, turn 83. All right, so here's turn 83. Riches from Beneath gets dispelled. This is our current turn. So we're going to be putting up Celestial Rainbow this turn. And we do get a few battles this turn. Generally speaking, though, things have calmed down quite a bit. But this is the Makona AI. I think they're going to overwhelm this vampire. Although they might not have the troops, and as a result lose some mages. Fire Elemental should help. Okay, we got some Sparte in here. Should do fine. There we go. So kind of gem burn themselves, but send a vampire home in Umbor. We've got Kaelasa attacking. This is a Frostbrand and a GSS Thug. The very humble Enchanted Shield. Yeah, these are just the recruitable mages that Kirby can recruit. Yeah. Yeah, these are the recruitable ones because they've got upkeep. I think he's also got summoning spells for them. Yeah, Kirby's got a lot of thugs. So that's here in Messenia. We got Vanheim attacking Merverni. So we've got a Jarl here, dismounted. With a booster, a temporary gem gen, GSS. A Jarl with a Bloodthorn. So maybe this was a little blood hunting province. Jade Sorceress. But here we have the whole Vanheim, or Merverni army. That said, this should gem burn. And we do see stuff going out. The Army of Mist. Got relief. Alright, some of the Draconians get added to the Horde. Stolen by the Communion. Let's see, or I guess they just lose 2 and lose a Great Boar. Wait. Oh, I looked at the wrong battle. Okay, yeah, they gained 12 Draconians and a Draconian Chief, which is a pretty big deal, because that's summoning capacity if they want to spend nature or pearls. Probably not, but it does mean that Vanheim's going to have fewer. In Rivia, we've got Kaelasa attacking. I mean, we've seen these thugs before. I don't see anything unique here, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this one. In Deep Waygore. Yep, I think we've seen these two as well. There are a lot of birds here, though, and some troops and mages, so let's see how this one goes. So right as they rout the birds, the cavemen show up. As they kill the cavemen, the Bone Tribe show up. They're still trying to finish their buff cycle. They do launch onto the attack rear. Does not get made blind. I think this was a blood hunting province. So let's see, this Jarl ends up leaving. It has a Sanguine Dowsing Rod. Okay. So if we go back and look at this, so here's the battle report. We do kill a Jarl, we kill a Crystal Sork, and we kill a fair amount of chaff. We look at the actual equipment on this stuff, though. We've just got 2 Dowsing Rod Jarls, so this was indeed blood hunting. In the Fortress of Satala, we've got Linka here. With some Draconians and a Raksharaja. Probably doing some Skelly spam. I don't think he'll Winds of Death his own stuff. Yeah. Alright, so Lanka takes the fort. Loses 7 Draconians in Quaddle Swamp. We've got Merverni pinging. Not much inside. Then we find some treasure, which is great. Our Hellspawn kills a Serpent Fiend. There's a little Lobster Claw. Yeah, Venomous Claws. Okay. Just straight up better. And yeah, so if I go in here, unfortunately, our Forbidden Light draws in a little bit too much stuff. And unfortunately, this guy also has the first crown, which is Master Ritualist 2. So between that and the Forbidden Light and the Crystal Coin, that was +5 Astral. So I think he was only, well, actually, I don't think this adds on to the magic level here. So this was a whoosh capable golem. And then we had +3 astral here, so that we only had to empower this guy to S4. But losing these artifacts will hurt, and it is a lot of Soul Torn. They have these soul rending claws that do quite a bit of magic damage. Alright, and unfortunately, I don't know, maybe it was complacency on our end. Maybe we didn't notice the prior assassination. I don't think anyone mentioned it, so maybe we didn't. But there wasn't like 2 pearls on that guy with a returning script, which probably could have saved him. But we'll just have to take that as a lesson for the next golem to go ahead and be a little bit more careful, because that is a pretty big blow to our whoosh income. Every whoosh that we do in the Nexus Gate or whatever has a profit of 50 gems per turn. And they are fairly expensive to set up, and we just set that one up. So that, I think that golem was a net loss pretty easily, because it was, I think, empowering to S3, I think, is 45, and then maybe 60. So like 105 pearls on empowerments, 30 for the golem. So that's like 135, I think. And then the 2 artifacts and the crystal coin, or the coin and meteoritic iron, is also quite a few gems. So pretty expensive loss, and I think we might have only gotten like 2 wishes out of it, maybe 3. So yeah, definitely unfortunate, but I mean we can redo that. That's definitely something within the realm of possibility. In terms of what we're forging this turn, here's the list as it stands currently. It could change a little bit. And then here's what we're sending out. And then for our recruitment, we are picking up on Burning One recruitment again, because we had a lot of gold this turn. And then closer to the front, I think this is the Steel Ovens. We're picking up Abyssian infantry recruitment again as well. So mobilizing for war. I think we can help out in the raiding game with maybe like smaller commitment stacks. I'll probably get Winds from Death, like Winds of Death, but you know, it'll still pitch in. It can still help. And otherwise, continuing to set up more blood hunting. We've got a bunch of mages in here. We need to get more patrol strength. We're setting up a new blood hunting thing in Polgrave. I might take Fields of Steel soon and deep blood hunt there. But in the meantime, we're kind of deep blood hunting Lepentha. So we'll see how that goes. And then in terms of what we're casting this turn, we've got another Curse of Blood. So continuing to stack up our vampires. And I think we moved our first one out here. So we're using these to get thralls, which is pretty nice. They can help out with patrolling. So yeah, we've got all these thralls here now. They've got 1 patrol strength, so they're actually kind of decent at it. They actually do a better job than these Abyssian infantry. So when we get those guys mobilized, they can definitely help pitch in. And notably, we did not get lost landed this turn. I think people are okay with us taking the few turns to set up for war on the designated turn. And we see a huge Pangea army gathering here. So, and then Kirby, I can't fully constrain Kirby. So Kirby did send out a bunch of earth elementals to pick off some mages. Does end up catching a crocodile. So that's just a little into. And yeah, I would consider this a bit of a nap break as well, but I was not consulted on it. And maybe I'm a little bit of a pushover, so Kirby's standing up for the squad a bit. All right, so that I think kind of explains our current feelings on things. And then we've get our first sight of Ether Warriors as Kalasa starts moving out more stuff, and we've started doming around everywhere. Celestial Rainbow is also nice because if somebody does Astral Disruption, and as long as it doesn't kill our Celestial Rainbow, we still have a dome effect everywhere. But if they do even a min cast of Astral Disruption, it'll clear all of our domes. So there is a little bit of a mini game now between Astral Disruption and putting down domes. I think it's a pretty significant nerf for domes. And I don't know that domes were all that powerful to begin with because most domes work on your own mages. They don't allow your own mages in, and that can be a pretty big deterrent. People often don't like putting domes on thrones because it prevents them from having a magic phase response to help out their garrison if an enemy army walks onto it. So there are downsides to domes. So I don't know that they needed, some sort of nerf like where they get affected by astral disruption. But there's also a lot of new fortification defense buff spells that I really don't know that we needed more of those. And Astral Disruption also clears those. So like Iron Walls and I think Immaculate Fort, and I think there's a couple of others. And they frequently block ethereal access too, which is super toxic for underwater fort stormings because it forces you to fight in the gate. And underwater is already a pain in the ass to fort storms or storm forts in. So some of those changes I'm not a huge fan of coming into Dominion 6, but having at least a way to clear them, I guess, is nice if we're going to have those spells. So, and I think that's it for this one. I mean, there's not a heck of a lot going on. We're just kind of gearing up for war, and we're trying to siege down these 2 forts and take this throne, and then we can focus on the rest of the map. We do have a nap 1 now with the Merverni team, so it's more like honorable front stabbings only type of nap. So They'll probably just be able to send us a message like, hey, we're attacking you, and then we have to respond. But it's better than just getting elfed. So perfectly happy to have like a little nap 1. It gives us both a certain amount of freedom of exercise. They might not want to do a nap 3 if we end up like starting to win versus the other 2 teams. And they might also not want a nap 3 if we end up starting to lose, and maybe they want to vulture that stuff back. So, all right. So I think that's I think that helped to make the deal a little bit more palatable for them. So yeah, I think that's it for this one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.